Today is Tuesday, June 9th. It's 1:33 p.m. 2026, and this is another vlog, a second one today. 396, and I've never done two in a single day, but I feel like I have a lot more to uncover and say and talk about. And like one of these things is Joseph Campbell's like Hero with a Thousand Faces, like the hero's journey, and how like that is also reflected in like content creator journey or the artist. And what that basically comes down to is like finding the divine within you and knowing how to like create with it and lead with it and build your life around it, how to have a creative life. And so that's like how to become unblocked as an artist. That's really the topic of the artist's way. And also a second book called The War of Art. So these are very, very important kind of like skills, topics to like have and master. And like if you are able to do these, then you're able to like really self-actualize, because that means you're actually like knowing where to cultivate your talents, where to develop yourself in the workspace, in build, in professional life and your personal life, and you know how to use your operating system, your brain, your body, your life, all your resources in the most optimal way by having awareness of like what you're able to really provide, offer, and what your value is, and what your plan is. Like having that awareness is the most important thing. So like what I'm talking about there is like the artist's way, being aware about like, I'm going to invest all this time in doing this kind of practice, this kind of skill, because I know it's going to have this return on investment that's so good, and it's actually economically valuable. That it's gonna, if I take this path as an artist, I know my output is going to be monetarily greater than if I will do another way, if I will do a traditional 9 to 5. Now this is now I'm unpacking like a lot here, but like this is really helpful to like talk this through and like talk about it step by step. So what I'm talking about is like the artist's way. What I'm talking about is like the entrepreneur way. What I'm talking about is like the innovator way. What I'm talking about is like the artist's way. And for example, and so what comes up to mind? Like let's just have a discussion. Like what comes to mind for you? Like maybe for me it's like, for example, John Summit. He's like a DJ from Chicago, actually, like in his early 20s, and he trained, went to college, trained as an accountant, and got a job as an accountant, and then quit to become a DJ. And you know, he's like put his whole life on the line of betting on himself and becoming a DJ, and that worked out wildly in his favor. Monetarily, like economically, he's making way more money than if he stuck to his accounting job. And of course, he's creating a massive impact culturally, having millions of people listening to his music, having these amazing feelings and moments. And just imagine this kind of like impact, you know, for you just being locked in a freaking painful, soul-crushing accountant job, versus you having the time of your life creating this beautiful music that's impacting and benefiting millions of people around the world that you've never met, but you're touching their lives and their spirit. And you're making so much more, 100x, 1000x more money. These are like stark, these are like as contrasting as you can imagine. Polar opposites, you know, like or another example is like the base chat. What's it called? Let me just check. Whatever, base chat, chat base, the leading AI customer service platform. Yeah. Chat based. Okay, this is like one of those stories of like indie hackers, solopreneurs. Like maybe you read on indiehackers.com or like on Twitter or something. He is one of these guys that like, okay, if you know his stories like from Canada, he like went to a traditional CS college degree, got an internship at like Fang, which was like the path, and then he realized, okay, I could just be a fucking software engineer for the rest of my life and like make around 250K per year, and it's a pretty predictable life, or I could just build my own project, get up every day and create something of my own and make uncapped potential of income and have an amazing adventure every day. What happens? Of course, he very intentionally, carefully, create a chat base. And how he did that is create a prototype, put it out there in communities, Reddit, and onboarded first users, and it started growing. And very focused on like ROI, return on investment, not wasting any time or resources on anything that will not drive growth and revenue and progress. These are two examples, right, of artists, of entrepreneurs, of people that have invested in themselves, used their innate talents, abilities, time, life energy in a way to best organize their resources, their 24 hours per day, to the end goal of creating some product, service that's impacting millions of lives and driving a lot of revenue. So that's a craft and that's a process of it. And if that's like John Summit creating, uploading SoundCloud, DJ tracks every day and then perfecting his craft, or if it's the chat-based founder, improving, listening, posting on Reddit about his latest update. This is the process every day. That's like taking a breath and consistently acting towards that goal. That's the process that like Steve Jobs talks a lot about like how to actually like create a product, and it's not just the idea. If you think it's just the idea, that's incorrect. It's like John Sullivan, he called it a disease, which is like very sharp language, very, very, very cut and dry, like computer science-y. So that's what this vlog is really about. It's about the artist. It's about that. It's about unpacking what it takes to be an entrepreneur. And why am I recording the second vlog today? And it's like I was writing my morning pages, and my morning pages revolve around this. And I realized my morning pages is really an essay, and it's an essay about these ideas, right? So, and this is really what activates me, what lights me up is when I see that I'm doing something right now, like I'm talking to the vlog, to the video, and I'm seeing that I have the voice chakra is open. I have working with my my higher space of language of ideas, and exploring that and recording and creating a document and creating something that lasts. That's exciting, because then I can look back at this and I can like pinpoint the exact data points that are like, this is where it's like happening. This is growth. This is bliss. This is creativity. This is insight. This is value. This is light. This is giving me energy. This is giving me insight. This is giving me nourishment as an artist, as a creator, as a creative technologist. And so I'm like reflecting on the act of like creating this thing. And then the second thing is like, that's that's reflected in the world of like creating a product or creating a business. It's like you put something out there, and then you check what the user feedback is, and you double down on that, what works, and likewise here. And so these ideas that I'm exploring here are about the man and computer symbiosis, and that is also like talking about like the artist, and you know, like Da Vinci used the notebook as an extension of his memory. That's the man-machine symbiosis. That's the man-notebook symbiosis. Likewise, now we have these digital communication devices that allow us to connect on the internet and put out these packets of data strung into videos, strung into images on Instagram, strung into posts on Twitter, strung into short-form videos on Reel on Instagram that allow us to broadcast and connect with others. And it's an orchestra that is happening in real time of the noosphere, Noosphere, noosphere. That means the knowledge sphere, which is like the data, information, content that's just rapidly evolving. So that's how we create a symbiotic relationship with the digital cybernetic space. And now, like anime works of art, like Ghost in the Shell really talks a lot about that, and Ghost in the Shell really goes into that. And to really appreciate that, be conscious of like what it means to be a creator in the space of digital internet, cybernetic space is a superpower, is a magic power. So like when I discovered coding in 2016, I was like, this is fucking amazing. Like, you actually are a fucking wizard, and I can actually just be a fucking wizard and be making bank and be creative, right? Be creative and be monetarily rewarded. So that unlocks insight into the power of the individual. You can actually, by unlocking your human potential, your creativity, you can gain new abilities. You become a wizard. You become capable of impacting this orchestra in such that you are creating something valuable. If you're tracking and paying attention to your balance, bank account balance, and you're looking at like what output you put out there, and if people are enjoying it and people are coming to you to give you their attention, and you are repeatedly over time proving yourself to be a good connection, a good moment in their day-to-day life, that's when you really generate value for the world, and you generate money, and you generate value for yourself, and your bank account balance goes up. So that goes back to the artist's way as the hero with 1,000 faces, the story about what is the divine within you that you can bring out there as a light to share, to guide others, to be of use, to be in this orchestra playing your part and pushing the whole human race forward. So that's this in a nutshell, like talking about creativity, and that means like putting things out there, and that means like actually like launching apps. And I'm like in the process of launching Cron Watch. So ending it there, but yeah, on augment.world, I'm thinking like have that loop in one simple tool that is like a 15-second short AI anime film. And like, there's so much more in this essay philosophy thing I want to go in deeper on and like create clips. But ending it here, thank you for watching, and as always, sending you good thoughts, frequencies, and vibrations. May you be free from suffering, because every thought matters. Sending you good thoughts. All right, thank you for watching. It's been amazing to be here. Thank you. Bye-bye.